too late, way too late, far too late to be a punk. Far too late, way too late, far too late for that outro, that outro.
Welcome to another episode of the Born Too Late podcast. This is Josh Rutledge, as always, with my friend Jay Castro, and we've got a little sort of music site Justice League meeting here. We've got the guy from Shock Treatment Zine and the guy from Faster and Louder with Ted from Taking a Ride. So we are cornering the market on the music sites. So Ted, we are very, very happy to have you on the show. Welcome to Born Too Late.
No, thank you for having me. It's quite an honor. I'm a big fan of your site.
We appreciate you coming on, and we always like to talk to other writers. It's fun, and we can kind of talk shop a little bit. So I think people may know you from a lot of things, but if we go back to the beginning, when you were working in college radio, could you tell us a little bit about your days with the KFDT and how all of that went down?
I always wanted to be a college DJ. This goes back to when I was not first discovering music, but hunting down music. I mean, even back in 81, 82, when I was 14 or so, or 13, 14, I was always looking for new music, and I was going across the radio dial, and I'd go left to right, just to, stop it on each station that had something going on. And on one of the stations, it was they were playing Van Halen, DOA. And I'm like going, well, that's quite a deep track for a radio station to be playing. Usually it was, at that time, Dance the Night Away, or I don't know, Running with the Devil, stuff like that. But DOA, it's like, oh, okay, well, let me leave it here. Well, it turns out that was a community college radio station. And so I would start listening to that. And one time at night I was listening to, and there was this guy, Mark Vincent, who had his Monday Metal Madness show. And he, turned me on to basically the whole new wave of British heavy metal, and Metallica wasn't even around then. Merciful Fate, Trouble, Venom, stuff like that. It's like all these bands were singing about stuff that I would be reading about in the library, like Countess Bathory. Wow, someone else knows who Countess Bathory is. Wow, I couldn't believe it. So I started listening to his station, his radio show all the time. And when I go, I want to do this. So basically, my parents kind of made me go to college, and I did it just to get out of the house. And so I went to UCSD, and first thing I did was go to the radio station there and try to say, hey, I want to do a heavy metal show. And they're going, oh, well, we don't really play heavy metal. We don't do stuff like. I said, yeah, but I'm not talking about Van Halen or Motley Crue was even kind of underground back then. No, Motley Crue was popular back, or Motley Crue, or Judas Priest. I'm going, no, I'm not talking about those bands. I'm talking about Exciter, Trouble, Merciful Fate, Venom. And they said, well, why don't you give us a tape of some of the stuff you like? Anyway, I finally got to achieve my dream and be a college DJ, and it got to be one of the most popular shows there. So
awesome. Yeah, I think, it's funny, like, I feel like there's a couple of main forks in the road when discovering music as in our adolescence. Right, there's the guys that hear it and catch the bug and want to be in a band, and then there's the guys like us that catch the bug and just want to either tell your friends or just keep digging, keep listening, keep, unearthing stuff. And I feel like maybe all three of us are of that ilk. I don't know. Just
maybe. I mean, I always wanted to be in a band. I mean, I love guitars. I always try to play guitars. I still can't, 45 years later, but I just couldn't do it. So yeah, those who are field musicians, I guess, right, or something like that.
Hey, I've got two Fender Telecasters right behind me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just never took for me either. So I want to talk a little bit about Flipside. So how did you end up writing for Flipside, and what was it like being a part of that when it was huge in the 90s?
Oh, it was incredible. It was literally the first time I ever felt I was included in something with comrades that we were all in it together, all for the, I never played while I was on the swim team in school, but I didn't feel like I was a part of that. I was, some other groups with friends and this and that. I didn't really feel a part of that. Flipside is actually something where I felt a part of. And how it started was I was an avid reader of Flipside from, I think I discovered it. My roommate, my college roommate was Chris Bowd, who was in Abandon, who was the band that Tony Adolescent formed after the Adolescents. And this was back in '86. So he had Flipside. So I would go read his Flipsides and stuff, and then I would start buying them on my own and stuff like that. And what happened one day was, let's see, I never had a car in San Diego, so I would bum rides off friends to go see shows and stuff like that. So once I graduated from college, I actually got a car and I moved up to LA. Well, I was driving down to San Diego every weekend because there was just too much happening down here. I would go to shows in LA during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then San Diego on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I actually put 100,000 miles on my car in 5 years, just driving back and forth from San Diego and LA. But how it actually happened was Kirk, who was my favorite writer for Flipside, went to the G.G. Allen show at the Spirit, which I didn't have the guts to go to. And he reviewed it and he goes, "San, damn, this place sucks, Diego." And I'm like, "Oh, dude, you don't know what's going on here." So I wrote a letter and I said, "Look, this is what's going on here. Just so you know, we got Drive Like Jehu, we got Drip Tank, we got Rocket from the Crypt, we got this band, that band, all this stuff." And I put a little blurb about each band, and this was all in my letter. And I said, "Hey, we got record labels too, and these clubs." And so I put them all in there. And little did I know, Al Flipside turned it into a column right there. And I think, I was at the this was '92 when I did that, and Bob Cantu came up to me. We were backstage at Mudhoney at the Palace. Kurt Cobain and Courtney Love were there too. And Bob said, "Hey, Al's going to print your letter." And I said, "Oh, cool." He says, "Oh, he wants you to keep it up." It's like, "Oh, okay." And it's funny because it was such an honor, because I was always, going to all these shows, seeing some of the Flipside people there, going, "Oh, is Kate going to be there? Or is Bob going to be there?" And I got to know them, meet them, and everything like that. And so I kept it up, and that's how it started. And I got a lot of flack from that because I was living in LA, and people were giving me a lot of flack, saying, "Hey, you can't live in LA and be reviewing San Diego shows." It's like, yeah, but I'm driving down to San Diego every weekend. I'm seeing more shows in San Diego living up in LA than I ever did when I was living in San Diego. So you can take that, but whatever. And then I started the column. I think we called it San Diego Shit. after Shane shit, because Shane from Flipside had his Shane shit column. Can I say shit on this?
Sure.
And then so yeah, I called my column San Diego shit. And then I was, going, well, I don't want to be constrained to just San Diego, because LA was really happening too. We're talking, 92 to 2000, 90, it was just incredible. Everywhere you went, there was all this amazing music, kind of like there is now. It's always been there. It's always there. You just got to look for it. And then later on, we had the column. I had the column changed to. I said I don't know what to call the column. I don't want to be constrained to San Diego. And this was like 4 or 5 years later. And so Al says I'll come up with something, and he came up with Inebriate Ted, because they were calling me Drunk Ted. So I said, oh, that's a genius name. It's like, okay, and with it.
So do you remember the story about how you got to be called Drunk Ted?
Yeah, there's the story of how I was named that, and then there was a story about how I found out about it. And I was named that from Ronnie from the Muffs. They have nicknames for everybody that they see and hang out with and stuff like that. And I didn't know this. And I think I was at the Whiskey at the New Year's Eve show, L7 playing. And I was going up the stairs, and I ran into Melanie from the Muffs. She goes, "Oh, hey, Drunk Ted." I go, "What?" She goes, "Whoops." I guess they were calling me that behind my back, and then it was out. And then one time, the big joke was, I don't know how big of a joke it was. Well, there's two stories. I still have to put this on my blog, but I was hanging out with Kim and Melanie from the Muffs, and they were pretty wild back then. They were always asking me to buy them wine, and Kim would take a couple sips and then just throw it at me. And it's like, oh, come on. And then it got to be like, Kim, I'm not going to buy you any more wine if you're just going to throw it on me. You got to promise me to drink it. But anyway, one of these times we were at Raji's. It was at a Jeff Dahl show. Kim says, "I want to see you naked." I'm going, no. And I don't know what happened, but they threw me down on the booth, and within 2 seconds had my pants off and threw them across the room. And so I had to go get them naked. And so then the joke was they were calling me Drunk Naked Ted. Thankfully, that one didn't hold up. Kim also punched me in the stomach like 50 times until she got tired. I worked out a lot, so my stomach was pretty rock hard, and she was. There's pictures of this, so I'm gonna put it on my blog, my website sometime. So there's my story and their story, but my story is they couldn't resist me and they had to see me naked. Their story is I think they thought I was looking too much like a weightlifter or something, and they wanted to bring me down a few notches. But I don't know. Kim used to have dreams about me, so I always say she dreams about me. She wanted to see me naked. So. That's my story.
That was though like one of the last like true like pre-internet times for like punk culture and punk music, when like so much of the culture was like being dispersed in like print publications. Yep. So that must have been pretty awesome to be like in the middle.
It was, but now I look at it, things with like Facebook, and anyone can have a blog or a website now. It's like, well, everyone does what I do now. I mean, I was just a guy who got lucky enough to be persistent and write a letter to Flipside and just keep it up, like Al asked me to. So I mean, but now everyone does. Everyone has an opinion on something, and usually they suck.
Yeah, so I was going to say, maybe not everybody should have.
Yeah, I say that too.
Isn't that the problem?
Well, the big problem these days is people have an opinion. They have opinions on things that they've never seen or heard. It's like, well, you got to at least listen to or watch the movie before you have an opinion about it.
Yeah,
they'll admit it.
Everyone's got hot takes,
yeah.
And yeah, it's like social media becomes this way to like broadcast your every thought to the entire world, and then you wonder like, okay, is anyone actually walking away from social media for a while and actually reading like a well-written review at Shock Treatment?
Yeah.
Or are they too busy on social media?
or faster and louder. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
How you review so much stuff. I'm very Beavis and Buttheadian in my reviews. If it's cool, I like it. If I don't, it sucks. And I don't know what else to say about a lot of stuff. You always have something to say about every single band you review, like something interesting. How do you do it?
I'll tell you, you recycle a lot of adjectives.
Keep the thesaurus handy.
Yeah, keep the thesaurus handy.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just I think I'm trying to have like a personal reaction to music, which is I think my secret, if I can call it a secret, is just that I'm not trying to be a journalist. I'm just trying to be a fan, and so just trying to channel like that. Okay, I think it's awesome. Why is it awesome?
Yeah. I loved your last post about your top 20 albums of the last 15 years.
Yeah, that was fun to put that together and kind of just try to reflect. And luckily I do the end of the year posts every year, so I could just go down through all of the end of the year posts and say, okay, what did I have there near the top, so I can start making this list. And okay, now I'm picked 20 for the past 15 years.
Do you like right now? Do you write a potential top 10 list already of the year or 20?
Yes, I have a whole outline already of what's in my leaderboard right now.
Yeah, I do that too.
Yeah, because you just gotta stay prepared.
Yeah,
and we're gonna tape an episode in a few weeks, like our favorite releases of the half year. So it's good to already kind of have an outline of that down.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of Add to Want List.
Maybe
It's a couple of brothers that do it.
Is it a website or is it like Bandcamp or something? Where you?
No, it's like a website where they review records and stuff.
Okay, I probably ran into it through Josh's blog.
Yeah, I think the last couple of years we've done a similar episode with them, like around June, July. We do like a best of so far. But
Oh wow!
anyway, yeah. To the listeners, that's what's coming in a couple weeks.
I can wait.
I know you'll all be excited to see what's our number 8 release of the first half of 2022.
So I just go down the line and I sample them all, what you guys have to say, and if I like the band, I add to want list and check them out.
Yeah.
Great stuff coming out.
Oh, it's so much. It's even hard to keep up.
I can't keep up, but I think 2025 was one of the best years ever in music.
Yeah.
It was just phenomenal.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially in Australia.
Oh, geez.
Boy,
Yeah. Yeah. All those guys, Civic, Split System,
Stiff Richards,
The Prize, Loose Lips. Well, even the Chats continue to.
There's a new band called Wombat that's I really, really liked a lot. We went to Australia twice in last November and the November before that. And they have a really cool festival there called River Rocks. It's basically at a kind of big bar, and they have an indoors and outdoors, and you have like 30 bands playing.
Oh,
we had to actually leave that early so we could go see The Prize.
Oh,
and
cool.
2 other shows going on that night that we had to miss because Gnomes were playing and Fly. You might like them. They're a metalish type of band that they blew me away 2 years ago when I saw them at River Rocks. It was just incredible.
Nice. I'll have to jot some of these things down.
Taking notes. So you also had a record label.
Yes.
At a time when it was really cool to have a record label because it was
but it was kind of on its way out, I guess. It was 95 I started it, and I went to about 2000. Basically what happened was I had a really stupid name for it called Scamorama Records. I just said, oh yeah, that's a great name. Okay. Because in LA, everything was a scam, every 6 months you get a guy knocking on your door at like 8 o'clock in the morning, say, "Hey, I'm from the cable company. You've been stealing this cable from us. You need to sign up for a cable company." It's like, well, that's not a way to get customers. And I've been living here for like a year and a half. If I had free cable, I'd be knowing it by now. But anyway, so everything was a scam. So I said, well, why don't I try to buy into that? So I had Scamorama Records, and it was a stupid name because I literally got the trust of no one. I couldn't get the bands to trust me. I couldn't get record. I mean, it wasn't a serious enough name. It was my one attempt to try and actually make some money doing what I love, which, the only time I made money doing anything in terms of music was when I was DJing at Smalls for a year or two. And the record label. So it was another labor of love for what I wanted to do with stuff like that. I started small. I was really into this band CLA, which was basically a punk rock acoustic duo, kind of like the Replacements. They certainly drank as much as the Replacements. And the Dragons, whom I loved a lot. I thought they had really good potential, and these two bands played a lot together. And I got a 4-track. I secretly recorded them when they played a place called the Boiler Room. And after the show, I said, "Hey, Mario from the Dragons, I secretly recorded the show." And he goes, "Oh, cool, bootleg it." And I'm going, "Oh, that might be a good idea." So that was my first release. It was, I think I called it Pretty Ugly. I went up to CLA and I said, "Hey, can you put this out? I'm going to make 230 copies." Their big number was 23. So I was going to make 230 copies. Each band will get 23 copies, and each side is going to be 23 minutes and 23 seconds long. And Steve Foth from CLA says, "Sure, but only if I get number 23. So I gave him 23, and that was my first release. So that was a learning experience. I made all the covers by hand. I got some stamps and Kinkos and glued everything together and this and that. And then I wanted to do something for real. So I put out the Dragons' first CD. They already had an album out in Spain on Impossible Records, but I put out their first CD, and that was another learning experience. And then I put out an Uncle Joe's Big Ol' Driver 7-inch, thinking these bands were a lot bigger than they are, or would be a lot bigger than they are. I made 1,000 of them when I probably should have only made 200. And so I'm still sitting on like 500 of them. And then Steve Poltz, I was if you knew Steve Poltz, he's a singer-songwriter, also a lot like CLA in that CLA was more, I don't want to say punk. There's certainly punk attitude in the way they drank and did stuff. Like on their last show, they refused to stop playing, and instead of doing downing shots of downing pints of Guinness in between each song, they would guzzle shots of whiskey and then take the glass and smash it on the stage. So the floor was filled with broken glass at the end of that night. And for their quote unquote final show, they refused to stop playing. They go, "What are you going to do? Never have us play here again?" It's our final show. So Tim Mays, and the Dragons, they literally all just laughed and they pulled the plug on them, and then the Dragons played and stuff like that. But so anyway, the Rugburns, Steve Poltz was in the Rugburns, and he's mostly famous for co-writing with Jewel, "You Are Meant for Me." Well, I would hang out with Steve all the time and call him up, and if you called him up, he had his answering machine. And he would write a new song every day as an outgoing message on his answering machine, and it'd be 30 seconds. So I literally took a microphone, held it up to the phone, and used a Sony Walkman to record this. And I recorded like 60 songs. And I actually got a second CD I could put out. Well, he would have to put it out because I'm not doing this anymore. And anyway, that did really, really well. That was like a fan club type of deal, but with Steve's name and stuff like that. That actually, I think I broke even with Scamorama Records thanks to him. overall. But the reason why I stopped the label was because I was making trips, scouting bands, so I would write off the gas mileage. Apparently I wrote off too much. I wasn't writing off my drinks. I'll tell you that when I was going to shows, and so I don't think I was writing off admission to the concerts and stuff, but I was writing off other stuff like gas mileage and stuff like that to see the bands. But I got audited, and so they said, no, you gotta pay all this back money and taxes to the government. And I said, well, that's going to ruin all my momentum, because I had plans to do more of these split single 12 inches where I do all the covers and this and that. And my accountant and me, we went to fight it, and we did fight it, and we won. But by then, it was the winds were out of my sail. I just said, you know what, this is way too much of a headache than what it's.
Oh man,
I'm not doing it anymore. But boy, I sure wish I could have been like Rumbar Records at the very least. I wanted to be like Geffen, but that wasn't going to happen with a name like Scamorama Records.
Yeah, it's hard running the record label, isn't it? Like
Oh yeah.
We really need to appreciate a lot of these labels that have longevity.
Yeah, especially at Rumbar. But now any band can do it themselves. It's really not that hard, especially with Bandcamp. And all you have to do is take some of your band money and put it towards pressing a vinyl and sell a bunch of copies, and that's it. You got a record out.
Yeah.
Labels are a lot smarter these days because no one's trying to press 1,000 records anymore. They're pressing 100.
Yeah. Well, another thing I wanted to do was be an A&R guy back in the day, and I often wonder where my life would have been. But I really never had money. So when I graduated college, I was a financial analyst. I was managing pension funds, and that was guaranteed money with a bonus in December. So I didn't want to. I was too scared. I didn't have the balls. Now I can. But I talked to a friend who worked for Warner Brothers Records, and I go, yeah, I would still love to be an A&R guy. He goes, there's no A&R guys anymore. You know how we find bands? It's all metrics. They'll get all the data from all the hits that they get on Spotify and this and that, and they analyze it, and that's how they find out what band that they want to sign and look into. It's not from going out live. And that was kind of a wake up. I just found that out like 3-4 months ago. It's like, whoa.
No wonder music sucks now.
Well, mainstream music sucks. There's a lot of great music out there.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So Ted, for people who might not know, we talked a little bit about our sites. Your site, Taking a Ride. Tell me a little bit about that and what it's all about.
Well, I'm very heavily influenced by Faster and Louder. I gotta admit.
Aren't we all?
I wanted to do something like that. And unlike Flipside, I felt like back in the day I was a stupid kid or whatever. I felt like I had to review everything, and if I didn't like it, I slammed it, and if I did like it, I gave it a great review. But I don't have time to slam things. I want to be all positive about, and I want to turn people on to stuff, not be another fussy, cranky person on the internet, which Facebook is full of them these days. So that was one influence. And another influence was all these, ads you get on Facebook, or all these pages you get. They all have like this false information, or the thing that really gets me is people who weren't even born yet were trying to tell me what it was like when Nirvana came out. It's like, you weren't even alive then. You can't tell me it was like I was there. I literally saw the industry change. I mean, one day major labels didn't want anything to do with you. They either college radio, they didn't care. If you want to interview a band that was on their label, they didn't care. You're too small. Or same thing for Flipside. Major label. And then once Nirvana broke, it was like night and day. the major labels, they wanted every single band to be on college radio. They wanted every single band to be in Flipside or what. And it got to be like when I interviewed Soul Asylum for the third time I ever interviewed them. I interviewed them twice for my radio show and for KSCT, and then once for Flipside. But Al says, do you want to, are you doing this because you like them, or are you doing this, do you want to do this because a label is hitting you up for it? I said, no, I want to do it because I like to. Same for the Goo Goo Dolls. I got the Goo Goo Dolls back. I didn't interview them back then. I should have, but it was raining and I didn't feel like going, so I had vodka instead.
That's really interesting. That false information is one thing, but also Josh and I are talking about a lot of sites and a lot of like pretty major sites, because I'm sure you get a lot of emails for like press people and all these sites. All they do is cut and paste press releases.
Yeah, I see that on blogs. Actually, someone cut and pasted one of my Kiss reviews and put it on their thing, and that crushed me. Well, am I going? He's got more attention than me. I got like maybe 100 hits on that, and this guy had comments and this and that, but it's all fake. I would get all these things on Facebook, and then I realized they purposely put in false information or label a picture wrong or something to get people to comment on it, and then they get all the hits.
Oh,
yeah, it's all.
Yeah. I didn't know
it's a scam around.
It's the true scamorama.
Yeah, so I was ahead of my time.
Yep, it's hit generated.
And then the third reason why I wanted to start a blog was I was talking to my niece, and I'm retired now. I'm on a strict budget, so I can't do too much. Sometimes I can. It depends on how investments are going and stuff like that. But I'm talking to my niece. I'm going, hey, what are you doing these days? And she goes, oh, she was going to be a scientist, then she went to be a realtor, and she goes, now I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and then I have my blog, and I make a couple grand from that a month, and then I do this, and I go, whoa, slow down, you make a couple $100 grand on your blog? It's like, I want in. So I wanted to try and get some cash flow going in for my blog, for attention, and I don't even get enough hits to generate ads to be put on my blog, so it's like that's kind of a failure too. But
that's tough, because I feel like if for what we do, it's almost like it's like it's so I don't know what the word is, like niche, that there, it's tough to just scrounge up enough people, and it's almost like if you're gonna try to do that, like we were talking about all those other blogs, it's like you got to resort to stuff like, I'm gonna put some fiery takes,
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I know that just seems why Iggy Pop sucks,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing anything like that at all. Geez. But yeah, that's the thing. You get no attention though if you don't do stupid, scammy stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think what I appreciate is, because there's a million music sites out of there, but I think a good music site, you get the personality of the person who does it, and so your site is very personal to you, and it plays to your the things that you love and the bands that you've seen, the bands that you've interviewed, and I think that's what we need. We need less of this crap on the internet that is driven just in desperation for traffic, and more. I know the word content gets used too much, so I hate the word content. But just good quality literature on music.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I'm doing, which is, I guess, same with you as you, because I'm basically doing what you're doing, except I go back to, I'm like, I have a COC interview from '87. I'm going to post up soon. I want to
Nice.
go in more in my archives and get a lot more older stuff I've done, because I've interviewed, probably 100 bands. Nothing like I've been doing lately. Lately, I did Hector Penalosa from the Zeros, and Kenny from the Dragons, now in the Bronx, and those turned out really well. And I like to do interviews like that now. But back in the day when I was a kid, I got a lot of interviews that I all saved. But yeah, one thing, going back to trying to make money off my blog, I want to point out that I've never made money doing something I love. And I always felt that, like, if I could make money doing something I love, I would be a super big success at it. But it just, I guess, never was in the cards. I mean, I didn't have the guts. I was at Wolfman Jack's house once back in 87. He recently, in 87, he signed to Mighty 690 here in San Diego. I had a friend, a really good friend, still is a close friend, who worked at that station, and Wolfman Jack was broadcasting out of his house in Beverly Hills. So he said, "Why don't we go up there and see him do a show, and we can hang out?" And he wanted someone to drive up there with him, so I did. And basically, his mission from the radio station was to, try and bond with Wolfman and just have him feel part of the team, because he was just Wolfman was a new hire for this radio station. So we went up there, we saw him do his radio show. We got to do the woo at the end and stuff like that. And he loved my name, Ted Tarris, that's a great name. And he gave me an amazing autograph. And, we're drinking beer after the show and sitting on the couch and stuff. He goes, "Ted, I want you to work for me. I want you to, I got such sights to show you," he basically said. I got an attic full of reel-to-reels, and I want you to document all of them. And I'm like, "Oh my God." And I go, "Well, I don't have a car. How am I in San Diego? How would I get up here?" And do I quit college? I mean, I'm in college because I want to try and, but that's a big turning point in my life where I wondered, what would have happened if I said yes. I actually did call him back up and changed my mind. Said, yes, I could do it on the weekends, but I'll need a place to stay. Can I stay in one of your rooms? Stuff like that. And I never heard back from that. But it often makes me wonder because my friend, who's the fellow DJ, was like saying, "Ted, you're turning down the Wolfman?" I go, I have no money. I can't even afford to get up to LA, so I really had no way to do it. Now, if I had a car back then, I'm sure I easily would have done it. But I often wonder, having that on my resume, what doors would that open up, and what music I could have heard on those reel-to-reels.
Oh,
Yeah.
Documenting all that and everything. And my friend told me recently, though, he goes, "I think Wolfman was just trying to set you up with his daughter." And I was like, I don't know, but whatever. Everything worked out for the best. So.
You mentioned sort of your Beavis and Butthead style of reviewing music, but you also talked about that very, very in-depth interview you did with Hector Penalosa, and I thought that was kind of a cool thing to see on a music blog in 2026. To have that yeah.
That was very influenced, at least on my part, by Howard Stern. He does a lot of retrospectives with, Bruce Springsteen or whatever, and he goes back and into this and that. So that's kind of where I was trying to go with, that, and with Kenny from the Dragons. I want to do more. The big plan was to, that Hector interview, that got a lot of heat from, there's two camps of the Zeros now. There's Javier and Baba and Robert and Hector. And Javier is not very happy with Hector. And after the thing came out, they're like going, this is all wrong. He told the story wrong, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, here, I want to interview you and Baba. And then, I'll get Robert and we'll put it all in one big, huge thing. And let's see, I was, even like 6 months later after that Hector interview, Javier was still hounding me saying, Hector has no permission to use this picture on the website.
Oh.
No permission. And I go, well, he gave it to me. And it's like, well, have him take it off. It's like, well, I put it up, not him. And it's like, I took it off. I mean, it was like an early photo of the Zeros and that Rhoda took, I think their very first photo. And I took it off and it's like, I wanted to tell him, but I didn't. I just said, you're not hurting Hector, you're hurting me.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I told him, I'll interview you, but I'm not going to hound him anymore for it because, it just seems like it'd be too much trouble. But yeah, it was all set up to do Baba, and he had some heart issues. So then I never heard back from him, even though I've seen him a couple times since. But, Hector really wanted to do it. Every time I would see him, he was like, hey, when are we going to do that interview? I go, oh, sure. Okay. We eventually set it up and it came out great. So I want to do more interviews like that. Sure would be nice to get the rest of the Zeros, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Yeah, because I think it's cool, like when you read something on a website that looks like it could have been in like Cream or Rolling Stone.
Yeah. Oh, I did a Pinch also from The Damned and English Dogs. That was really good. He helped me out big time with that. He's a good friend. So he's really, we hang out in the same circles. So
cool.
Each other a lot and a lot of parties and stuff. So yeah, I'm wondering who else. What did you think of it being in 6 parts? I did it in 6 parts, each interview 4 to 6 parts in order to maximize the hits or whatever. I don't know, but should I put it all in one?
No, I kind of liked that it was in 6 parts.
Okay.
Just because I think there is a limit to how much you put up in one post.
Yeah.
And I think this is something I wrestle with all the time is like, this is the age of, too long didn't read. And should I ever be writing anything that's 600 words? Should everything be 100 words? And then, of course, I can't keep myself under a certain amount of words sometimes. But yeah, it's just an interesting, I think, dilemma we all have is, are we dumbing down what we do because it's on the internet?
Yeah, that's the thing with the internet that really gets me. It's like we're supposed to be the smartest generation ever. We got encyclopedias of knowledge at our fingertips anytime, and yet we're like the dumbest we've ever been. Even just look at the sound quality for music. You start out with LPs, the best sound quality, then you compress it to CDs, and then you compress it to MP3s, and then it's compressing even more for streaming. And now people are arguing that streaming is better sounding than anything. It's like, no, we're degrading, we're downgrading everything, and I don't know. It's just a weird thing. What really drives me crazy are all these people who think the Earth is flat now. We're going back, 500 years now. It's like on any or that the whole space thing, NASA is all fake. Moon landing's wrong. It's like, did you not graduate 3rd grade, or what's going on here? Why are we getting stupid?
Yeah, I can't. Yeah,
it might be bots trying to just generate attention and to get hits for their pages.
That's kind of what I was going to say. Like, I think that comes back to the whole scam, like trying to, the fiery takes, like.
Oh, I should have, what, if I was doing Scamorama now, I could do fiery takes on everything. I don't know, but I just feel so weird doing something that's not honest 100%.
Yeah, it's like cheap, Go ahead, Josh, sorry.
Yeah, what in the world are we living in where you've got these people that will just believe anything they see on the internet?
Yeah.
Like, that's just digital literacy 101 that you should be suspicious of of someone saying something is true just because you saw it on social
Yeah.
media.
I don't know. I feel like our I don't know. I feel like our generation, it was almost we're almost brought up to just question everything. You know, like just be suspicious of everything, everyone, everything you read, everything you watch. We're always, and I don't even know if generations after us even, if that's even a thing
Well,
for anybody after.
I think we question too much, like these moon deniers or whatever. It's like, well,
Oh,
do
that's
you
true.
not
Yeah,
believe
yeah.
1 + 1 = 2? I mean, where do you stop the? Don't be so open-minded your brain leaks out.
That's the problem with the world today. Is
Yeah.
That's good.
we can no longer even agree on facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, your brain's so open minded. Your brain is so open, too much shit falls in.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, I'm wondering who I should interview next. I mean, I want to interview people I know who live in San Diego. I was thinking about Mario Rupacabra from Earthless.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Because he's a big metal fan too, from 80s and new wave of British heavy metal and all that stuff. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
That dude's played drums for like everybody.
The big ones I really wanted to do. Pinch was a really big one. He helped me out big time with that, and I like that a lot. So that was good. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure something out.
So, we were talking about you writing for Flipside, writing for publications, and now you've got your blog. Do you consider the way people are experiencing your writing when you're taking a ride? Sorry.
I don't think too many people even read my blog, to tell you the truth. I ran some stats, and so I mean I don't even think about it. I just write what I write, and I hope someone likes it. I hope the bands like it and share it, and that doesn't even happen as much as I would like it to happen. I was hoping to get a big snowball rolling and turn this into something huge, but who knows? I'll just keep it up for as long as I feel inspired.
Well, that leads us to our next question. I was going to ask you is what does keep you inspired?
There's kick-ass songs, kick-ass bands, kick-ass guitars. And me having something to say about it. I could review the latest, what was that album, Loose Lips or whatever. And it's like, I don't have anything to say about it. I don't know what I could say about it. I like it. I don't know what to say about it. So, but if I have something to say about it, if I can connect that with a personal anecdote or something, like, even if it's just one line or two, I'll do a little review on that. But I don't know. It's just, I just roll with it.
I think one thing that obviously is an asset is that you have access to seeing a lot of great shows.
Yeah.
Being where you are. So do you have like a handful of like favorite live bands that are like always a must see when they come through town?
Yeah, I got a few. I mean, a lot of them are no longer around, I guess. The Muffs I would see every time they came around. Dragons, CLA, bands around these days. There's a few. Usually it's I look to see what clubs are having what bands play, and then I go check out those bands on Bandcamp or whatever, and if I like them, I'll go see them. Like Sleevings, I've seen them. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I saw them at the Tower Bar.
Nice.
What bands do I see that? I'm sure there's some. Australia was hard. Last November, we saw 9 shows in 9 days, and we even took one of those days off where we didn't see any bands. So we doubled up on one day. There was just something going on every single night of the week, more than once. It was insane. So I hope to I want to go again this year, but the problem is we've just had a lot of pipes replaced in the past 3 days here at our place. I think that might take our Australia budget away, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, it depends on what bands are playing. A lot of it's I'll see Bob Mould anytime he comes around.
Yeah.
He and Michael Monroe. I mean, both those bands. I know it's sacrilege, but I think Bob Mould's solo stuff is better than Husker Du for the most part. Not all of it. Same for Michael Monroe. I think a lot of his stuff's better than Hanoi Rocks.
So, yeah. So let me ask you this, Ted. You're a big metal guy. What were your top 5 bands in the genre be?
Oh, well, Metallica would have to be one of them. I mean, I don't like the Black Album. I don't like the Load and the Reload albums. I love everything else. I thought 72 Seasons was one of their best albums they've ever done. It was a perfect summation of their whole history. And I just love the production and the sound, the talking in between the songs. It's like, okay, let's go. Let's do this one. Or, oh, that turned out good. You can hear that quietly in between the grooves. So Metallica, definitely one of them. Let's see who else. Well, they only had 2 real albums out. Witchfinder General, I liked a lot. Merciful Fate, I like a lot. Of course. Oh, Slayer. Of course. Duh. Slayer. I think Slayer's the greatest metal band ever of all time because they never faltered. They never had a misstep. They never used keyboards. They never did a stupid ballad or anything like that. You got perfection. There's no reason to change. Oh, AC/DC is my favorite band ever, though. And that's another thing about Australia. Oh, man, you want to talk about a country. If a country ever had a national band, it's Australia and AC/DC for Australia. We saw them twice there last November, and that was
cool.
Wow, some experience. Crazy, but yeah. So if you want to call AC/DC metal, I don't know if I really would, but AC/DC, Motorhead, Metallica, Merciful Fate, and then everybody else.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you define metal.
Yeah.
Because I guess in 1982, we were calling Van Halen metal.
Yeah.
And we were calling it AC/DC metal. But yet, very different bands from like Judas Priest or Iron Maiden that I would consider, metal.
Yeah. There's always those bands that straddle the line,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's another thing I want to get into. I've always gravitated towards louder guitars. So, I started off liking the Bay City Rollers, who I still listen to quite a bit. Sean Cassidy, stuff like that. And then Styx, and then Kiss came along. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then AC/DC came along. I was like, whoa, wow. And then thrash metal, Metallica. Oh, they really turned the guitars up. And then discovered GBH and Discharge, and and it's like whoa, wow, punk rock. So that was all like really cool. So I always went for louder guitars, but a lot of albums I don't think have the good aren't produced the way that I would want them produced. So I've been taking some software and just for my own use, remixing a lot of albums, like Witchfinder. A lot of it just sounds like you just tweak the equalizer. But no, I remixed even the Fly album. I remixed Witchfinder General albums. I did those because I did the early Slayer stuff. I cranked up the guitars on that. A lot of Van Halen bootlegs. The 1992 Diver Down tour basically got released all on soundboard on YouTube. So I've been taking those shows and remixing them to make them sound like Van Halen albums. I get a lot of compliments on that, but that's another thing I would really like to do. And maybe I can turn that into something. I don't know. I want, if there's a band out there that wants me to remix or mix one of their albums, send me the stem files. I'll do one song. If you like it, I'll do the whole album, for free. I just want to get my foot in the door. I don't know how to go about it. I sold, on 16 track, I had recorded the Dragons doing Exile on Kentner Boulevard. So they did all Rolling Stones covers on Christmas Eve. I think I did this in 98, and I sold it to Jim Rin of I-94 Recordings. And it's like, I'll told them I'll remix it for you the whole thing for free, and you can release it. But I haven't heard back.
Oh man!
But yeah, I want to really remix something, and that's another person I'd like to maybe interview. Ed Stasium. He lives in Poway, and he did all the the Ramones stuff and everybody else. Dictators. I think he did the last Dictators album. He's close with them. So I'd like to interview him. That might be really good. Also could maybe try and get I'm told, because from Pinch and CJ Ramone would be good. But one of the guys from Screeching Weasel has a podcast, and
Jughead's Basement. Yeah.
Jughead. And so it's like, oh, okay. But I got a bunch of other questions I can ask, because I got some inside info, so I can go in on that and have some interesting questions for CJ, I would think. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
So speaking of the Ramones, you did that post where you ranked the 10 best Ramones cover albums.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on cover albums in general?
I like them if they can do something different. It's same for cover songs. I like them if they can do something different with it. I'll like them if they make the guitars louder. So that'll do it for me too. It all depends. I got the Black Sabbath cover album. I got the Zach Sabbath cover albums. They're okay. I don't listen to them all the time. I put on the originals if I want to hear them. A lot of those Ramones ones though are excellent though. I like the Boris the Sprinkler one a lot.
That's probably my favorite. Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of them. I couldn't believe how many of them. And someone has to do there's 2 albums that haven't been done yet, and one of them's a covers album in itself. Some young band should take that up and do it.
Who's gonna cover Acid Eaters?
Yeah.
You have to cover these songs in the style of the Ramones.
Yeah.
Can you do it? So you talked about the trip to Australia. I mean, that must have been awesome. I'm just wondering, since we all heard the bands and heard the music and the recorded music, but you were there, with the people and in the action. Like, what were your impressions of like the atmosphere and
the atmosphere is great. I mean, people there. I mean, there's people older than me dancing around like crazy, and they don't care. They're just gonna go out and dance. There's one guy who would take Jack Daniels and take a sip and then pour the rest over his head. I think he was a little off, but everyone knew him. He was he's friends with everybody, and everyone takes care of him when he needs help and stuff like that. We saw it wasn't Wombat, Mongrel, a band called Mongrel. They opened up it was the night we actually got into Australia, so we went out that night immediately, and I'm thinking they sound amazing. They're sounding great. One guy in the audience didn't think the guitars were loud enough. So what's he do? He runs up on stage, just walks up right up to the amp, turns up the guitar even louder. It's like, wow, I would just yell, "Hey, more guitar!" But man, he cranked, and then he drank their beer. He must have been a friend of theirs, though, to tell you the truth, because I don't know how that would have happened. But then he drank their beer and took one and threw it on the ceiling and sat down by the speaker, and it all rained down on him and stuff. And Yeah, it's great crowds. It's sometimes crazy, but they're all there to have fun. No one's like looking to. Yeah, they'll slam and stuff, but they're not looking to slam in order to punch somebody out or kill them or something. Unlike like here.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
But,
does it say
it's-
about the culture of Australia that they've had this awesome music for like 50 years?
Yeah, I don't know. And it's really strong right now. Really strong scene. You just see it at and you could walk up and talk to anybody. Then they geez, we were talking to somebody and she goes, "Oh my God, I never met an American before. I never." I go, "Really?" He goes, "Well, yeah. Why would you guys come to Australia?" And then she's like, "Going, have you ever been to a rodeo?" And it's like she was rodeos all the time. I go, "I don't think so. I don't know. If I did, it was when I was a kid." But yeah, Australia's. I've always been a fan of their music scene. And I got a friend I actually met through the internet from England, and he actually moved to Australia. So when I'm in Australia, I'll run into him, and he knows everybody there. So he'll tell me what bands to see, where to go, and
Oh, cool. That helps.
Yeah, helps a lot. So
When we knew we were going to have you on, I knew I had to ask you about beer. So let's just say we set aside IPAs, like let that be its own ecosystem.
yeah.
Do you have like some go-to styles outside of the IPA?
Oh yeah, I don't even drink IPAs. I used to when I didn't know any better, but they're way too bitter for me now. I love stouts and I love porters. I love browns. Anything dark, anything I can't see through. Also has to be non-coffee. I don't like coffee in my beer, and for the most part, non-imperial, because I like to drink a lot. And if I'm having an imperial beer that's what 8, 9, 10%, I'm having one of those and that's it. That I can't do that. This is an imperial beer we discovered in New England. We've been going to Boston and Connecticut a lot. David Lee Roth. I don't know if you can see that. So, it's an imperial. It was pretty good, but you could only have one of them. But that was a good one. I just love all the dark beers. It was funny in Australia. Here in America, you really have to search for, at least in San Diego, you got to search for dark beers. I mean, it's just a bar here will have 30 taps, 20 of them are IPAs, 5 of them are sours, and they'll have maybe one stout, and it'll be imperial with coffee or something like that. I love, I do travel around a lot because we got family, both my wife and I, we both have family on Midwest and East Coast and stuff like that. So we'll try and go visit them all while seeing bands. And, but we like, my favorite brewery anywhere is Torg. That's in Fridley, Minnesota, near Minneapolis. And if you just go about half an hour east in Wisconsin. Yeah, there's a brewery called Pitchfork that has like the best brown ale I've ever had in my life. But the cool thing about Australia is, I mean, here we have to pick and choose where we go depending on and find out what beer they have. We have to either call them or look on the website. Hopefully they printed something, and we go to many breweries and we walk in there and find out they don't have a thing we can drink, and then we leave. But Australia, you don't have that problem. Every bar has they don't have any imperial beers there, as far as I could tell.
Oh wow.
All their beers are like 3.5, maybe 4%, maybe 5. And they always have a dark beer, and they also have a ginger beer is huge there with alcoholic ginger beer.
Wow.
You put some ice cubes in it, fill it up with the ginger beer and put a lime in it, and it's incredible. And every bar has one or two or sometimes even three of those. So, but it was funny at River Rocks. The first time we went, I was at the bar and I'm hanging out with Malcolm, who is from Fly, and I go, oh man, I got to slow down. I've been drinking all day, these 3.5% beers, and I had like maybe, I don't know, 6 or 7 of them. And he looked at me like I was crazy. He goes, we all have. Okay, I stand corrected. But that's how they can drink all day. The beers are like 4%. So,
yeah, that's the thing. If you're like at a show and you're gonna have 3 or 4, yeah, you don't want to be drinking something 10%.
No. Well, plus I gotta drive.
Yeah,
so I gotta be okay. So yeah, back in the day, I would drink 10 to 15 beers in a day, and take myself up to the limit. And then if I didn't think I could drive, I would hang out till 4 a.m. with the homeless people and hang out and talk with them and stuff. Got to be friends with some of them actually, outside of Al's bar and stuff like that. But you sober up and then get in the car and drive. But yeah, so. But my favorite brewery in San Diego, though, is Barley and Sword. And that's what I've been drinking. The Scottish ale. All their beers are English style. They have even their IPAs, and they had to make an American IPA, just one though. But they have an English style IPA. But everything else is all Hefeweizen and all very tasty. They won a lot of awards. They got like 2 or 3 stouts, and 2 or 3 porters, and stuff like that. Scottish ale is excellent, so I like them a lot.
Yeah, anything British or German, it's kind of hard to go wrong.
Yeah, well, I'm drinking Barley and Sword, the Scottish ale, from my I don't know if you can see it, from my Fear of the Dark Iron Maiden glass.
Nice.
They have their own beer.
Yeah,
actually, but you can't. You can only get the ESB here, which I like. They do have a porter, which I can't get, but that's another thing. I was going to try to go to Ireland and try the Guinness there, and maybe I can run into the Iron Maiden beer stuff.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. The best Guinness I've ever had in my life, and I've had thousands of them, was in Australia. The top two Guinnesses I've ever had.
Wow.
Drunken Poet in Australia, and the Gem in Australia, in Melbourne, and there's other places that have Guinness there, but those just tasted like really good American Guinnesses. But I don't know if it's because it's pasteurized or not pasteurized, or I don't know what those 2 bars did. But the Gem was a total dive bar. We went there. I got the Guinness just because I was sick of drinking so much ginger beer. We were there to see the Drunk Mums and Slander Tongue. Slander Tongue was touring from Germany.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, we saw them a couple times, and that was a good show. And so I just got a Guinness, and it was funny. I get a Guinness, and I go, "Oh my God, this is the second best Guinness I've ever had in my life." And it's a noticeably different. And the funny thing is, you can go outside and just drink out on the street, and which everyone was because it was so crowded inside, and it was raining, and no one said a thing. No one. They didn't bat an eye. San Diego, that much rain, like it was like maybe an inch. It would have shut down the city. But yeah, they didn't bat an eye. In fact, I saw some of the hardest rain ever. When we saw Hoodoo Gurus in Australia, in between sets, I stuck my head out the window, and the hardest rain ever there. And then also in Brisbane, it was incredibly hard rain. No one even talked about the rain. Here in San Diego, it'd be the only thing people talk about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's like I live in Arizona. It's the same thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. It's yeah, I mean, the weather reports here will be okay. We're going to big storm coming through, just be ready for it, just so you know. And then at the end of the whole weather report, they'll say, yeah, we're expecting a thousandth of an inch. It's like, that's a mist. That's not a storm.
Yeah, those Australians are hardy people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's like the Midwest.
And the one thing that really struck me about Australia, like all the musicians there, they all really, really, really could play. I mean, I'm sure, yeah, people can play here and stuff like that and everything like that. But I mean, just all these bands, even like, quote unquote, the no name bands that I was saying, it's like they just knew how to play. It was crazy.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So Ted, I want to close things off by asking you. We talked a little bit about how great the past year was of new music. So, what are some of your favorite releases of 2026 so far?
Oh, 2026. Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. Thankfully, I got my Bandcamp up here, so I can look at something.
Yeah, cheat sheets are
We always recommend.
always, yeah.
Maybe I have something on there for what I've reviewed. I don't review too many. Like I said, I don't review too much stuff because I just don't know what to say, and Josh does it so much way better, interesting than me. So I just let people go to his blog. Let's see.
Yeah, I do that a lot too. If I like a record, I'm going to review it or I'm going to talk about it. And Josh reviewed it. Our buddies at Add to Want List reviewed it, and I'm just like, there's nothing. I can't say anything better than what these guys
Yeah,
said.
yeah, exactly. So
I just talk over my shoulder.
Yeah. So, there you go. So the new Bags album, that's okay. That's pretty good. It's not their best. It's not their worst. Len Price 3. I like their new album a lot. Muck and the Myers, that's from last year though. The new Michael Monroe album, Outer Stellar. That's really good. I like that a lot. That might be his best solo album, and that's saying quite a bit. Anything Pat Todd does will be on my list, I'm sure. He put out an excellent EP this year of After the Dolls. So it's not the New York Dolls stuff. It's stuff after that. So he did 3 songs were David Johansen songs. I think 2 of those were B-sides. I didn't know any of those songs. And then 3 Johnny Thunder songs. Except for Dead or Alive. All of them are fairly obscure. I'm expecting the Queers to have a new album. Oh, I might interview Joe Queer.
Oh,
wow, that'd be cool.
I reconnected with him when I saw him at Brick by Brick just a few months ago, and he gave me his phone number and stuff. And he says, "Yeah, I'll get you a photo pass for the show when they're here with Screeching Weasel in September." And yeah, maybe I'll try and do an interview with him. But that wouldn't be a long retrospective one like I've been doing because we probably wouldn't have the time. But there's a lot of questions I have that I want to catch up with him and stuff. Chuck Norris Experiment, the Hot Stuff 3. Oh, the Helicopters, Cream of the Crop, Volume 3. The Glucifer, Same Drug, New High. That I like that album. The new Megadeth, that was pretty good. And that's all that I have that I can have listed off the top of my head from my blog for 2026 so far.
And we had a lot of good stuff last year too.
Oh yeah, geez, I'm still trying to catch up to last year.
Yeah, I think we're all trying to still catch up in 2025.
Yeah. Incredible.
Just the stuff from Australia.
Yeah. Just the stuff from Australia would be enough, and yeah.
Yeah, I was buying so many stinking records last year. Like I'm still flipping through. I'm like, I saw stuff I haven't played that I bought last year. I won't name the bands, but yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even listen to this.
I got a ton of them. I came home from Australia with about 25 records.
Awesome.
So I still have to go through them. My problem is I play too many stupid video games. And so I'm not listening to records when I'm playing video games, and I play video games way too much. I'm kind of addicted. I gotta wean myself off this stuff.
Do you play? Sorry, I don't mean to like nerd out on you, but do you play like console games or online?
I don't like playing online. Other people tend to ruin things for me, so or take too long, or slow me down, or just try to mess things up. And it's like, yeah, I just play on PS5 mainly. But then again, I play on my phone, and then I got a handheld thing and sometimes on the computer. But
cool.
My hands are getting all injured and stuff from video games, so I got to stop. I got to slow down, and I should pay more attention to music and listen to more. But yeah, I gotta. There's a cool band I discovered in Australia. I bought it. Well, I heard it on Bandcamp before I bought it, so I said, okay, I'll pick this up. A metal band, full on metal, like kind of like Stormtroopers of Death. Wow. And you know how Stormtroopers of Death have that song "Milk," where they say, I want some milk, blah blah blah. Well, Pizza Death, all their songs are about pizza. So, like one of their albums is called "Rise of the Antichrust," and the liner notes and the explanation of the songs are so creative and so funny. I had to pick that up, and they got 2 other albums. I gotta pick up next time I'm in Australia.
That's pretty cool. That's funny. Well, hey, Josh, do you have anything else for Ted or?
No, just want everyone to know that the website is takenaride.com. There was no one else that had it before you.
Well, my wife picked that name. She's good at stuff like that. And I'm a huge Replacements fan. Whenever we're in Minneapolis, we always do the whole Well, we don't do the whole Replacements tour, but we'll go to the Let It Be house, and we'll hang out at the CC Club, which it's kind of funny because supposedly Paul Westerberg wrote "Here Comes a Regular" about hanging out at the CC Club, and I was talking to one of the owners there back in the maybe 10 years ago before they changed ownership, and I said, did Paul really write "Here Comes a Regular" about that? He goes, well, no one knows for sure, but I do tell you this: he was in that corner over there drinking, old fashions, and he had a notebook, and he was always writing. I don't know what he was writing, but he was always writing something. So
that's pretty cool. So everyone check out Take It a Ride.
He said when a Rolling Stone did an interview with Paul Westerberg that Paul Westerberg wanted it done at the CC Club, and he wanted that guy to be in the interview. and the bartender's like going, no, this is your thing, not mine. So you do it, but
let's interview the bartender. That's part of the story.
So Ted, are you on social media?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I have a Taking a Ride page for that. I'm on Instagram. I don't really do that too much. I mainly because I can't figure it out. I don't like the layout. I don't like how I can't put links in there. It seems complicated. On my personal page, I only friend people who I've met or really need to get in contact with or really admire and stuff like that. So I don't just pick any random person to be a friend of mine. So of course you guys, Josh, you're already on there, but if you want to be on there, Jay, just tag me, Ted Tarris, Tarris on Facebook. I got a knob that goes to 11 on my thing.
I deleted my Facebook account a few years ago, and I don't know. I go through these weird tantrums, and I delete everything, and then I get them back, and then the last time I deleted Facebook, and I'm like, I started doing my blog again. And I'm like, maybe I should just get back on Facebook and just get a little more connected, and they won't let me back on. So all I have is Instagram. That's because that's all they'll let me.
You are not welcome back into the club.
I am not.
Do you feel your life's better not being on Facebook?
I don't know. I don't know. It maybe used to be, but it's kind of frustrating because a lot of times I'll see some bands are more active on Facebook. Yeah, like some people are more active on Facebook, some people are more active on Instagram, and it's like, gosh, I feel like I'm sort of missing out a little bit, but
actually, the reason why I joined Facebook was because a friend of mine, we were out to dinner one time, and he goes, "Oh man, how'd you feel about Stymie from Inch dying?" And I'm going, "What? Stymie's dead?" And he goes, "Yeah. I mean, I go, how'd you find out?" And he goes, "Facebook." And I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I kind of got to be on Facebook to at least be in touch."
Yeah. That's the thing. It's well, anyway, Ted, it was really great meeting you. Thank you for coming on, and
thank you for having me. Yeah,
thank you for lending us, your Friday evening here.
Oh, no problem.
But
it was an honor. Thank you.
Yeah, hey man, it was an honor having you, and thank you for sharing your stories with us.
And if you want to have me, I got a ton of stories actually, but that's another thing. People say, "Oh yeah, you should write a book." And it's like, who would read it? No one even reads my blog. So why would I waste time doing a book? But that's the one thing Pinch tells me. He goes, "You know what? Everyone has a story. You should interview, everyone at this party has a story you could probably interview on your blog for something." There's Gail Sparkle Higgins. She was Johnny Thunder's manager back in 77, 78. So it's like, I'm sure she has some stories. So she's another person I'm thinking about interviewing too.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah. But I don't know where I was going with that, but anyway.
Yeah, there could be lots of interesting interviews coming to Taking a Ride. So
yeah, hopefully we'll see. We got a full bar here, so
follow it closely.
I just have people come over and sit at the bar and talk.
Cool, man. Well, hey, you're welcome back anytime.
Oh yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'll be more prepared if you want to do a half-year roundup. Reviewing albums or whatever on the podcast or whatever. If you have any time, just ask.
We look forward to it.
For sure. All right, Ted. Well, thanks again. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Thank you.